Well, hello and welcome back. My name's Kieran Siemens. This is my Inky World. And today is question time. Today we have a question. The question reads, how do I live a better creative life? Wow, that's gonna be a big discussion. So, let's do a drawing and let's talk about the creative life. Let's do it. Okay, well, welcome back. How do we kind of build a better working life? How do we build a better creative life? How do we maintain that life? That's a really, really powerful question. It's a very difficult question. Um, and I think the best way to start it is with some ink. Excuse me while I do some. I put down some ink to inspire myself. It's a good start, isn't it? Alright, I think for me, one of the important parts of art is to not to lose sight of being a student of it, you know? Don't get too complacent with knowing everything. Don't get too hooked up in this idea that you're too amazing to learn, you know? I feel like I like to start. I mean, for me, I like to start with something that's so irregular that it makes me think, it makes me nervous, it makes me on edge. And I feel like to do that keeps me thinking, keeps me sensitive about everything around me. And I feel like, I think you need to kind of keep that student element of art. I don't feel like you can get too kind of quick to judge others, too quick to say, oh well, that's a bad drawing, or that's not right, or that's whatever. I think we need to keep that very fresh mind. I'm going to draw. I don't know why I've drawn it so high up today, but well, that's part of the challenge, isn't it? That's what makes it all so exciting. I think for me, I have to keep learning. I have to keep looking at other people's styles. I have to keep looking at fresh ways of working. I mean, so many people have so many incredible different drawing styles. And it's not to say that one person is better than another, but maybe it appeals to you more, you know? For me, people like Ronald Searle were a huge influence to me for the very, very simple reason that I loved his way of viewing animals and figures, and the way he drew expressions and faces, and it really, really got me. Gerald Scarfe, Ralph Steadman, there's a whole line of them, and they all inspired me in different ways for different things. And that, I wouldn't choose one above the other, because some days I love those kind of political drawings, and you think, oh wow, that's. And then some days I can't stand those political drawings, and You know, I love the way, for me, I keep coming back to Ronald Searle because he constantly had that kind of childish view of things. And that kind of kept, in my mind, it kept that freshness about it, you know? It never got to a point where let's be really silly with this. It never got to a point with Ronald Searle that I kind of felt like, oh, he's gone too far, or where some of the other people sometimes they have gone too far, or maybe too far away from what I like. And that's also another part of an artist. An artist needs to express himself in any way that he feels, she feels works good for them. So I would probably say that the thing that keeps me kind of ticking along is the fact that, you know, I might see somebody draw a kid's book or something, and I get, oh my God, that is so exciting. That's so interesting. That's so beautiful. And it will make me think of, oh, wouldn't it be beautiful to be able to do something like? Wouldn't it be beautiful to, you know? And that, for me, is a constant. You know, I'll see someone do an oil painting, and I'll just be so excited by what they've done, and I will be so excited to try oil painting or acrylics or watercolors or whatever the medium happens to be. And now, even for me, it's now, you know, now I'm starting to do these type of videos and stuff like that. It's also kind of interesting for me to see how people make other videos, you know. So there's a whole fresh way of looking at everything. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay. I'm drawing a very long-legged horse of some sort. And again, it's not right, it's not wrong, it's just expressing and trying different things. You know, doing this drawing might start a new style. It might get me excited by the whole concept of maybe drawing elephants with long legs, like Dali did in whatever 1930 something or whatever it was. You know, somebody correct me on the year, which I'm sure you will. And that was an incredible painting at the time. But at the same time, if I was to draw this, it has no bearance on copying Dali or wanting to be like Dali. It's simply that I've done this drawing of a very long-legged horse. And I know that a lot of people have come back with my drawing style and say, oh yeah, very much like what style, or what style, or he did what style, or I never see it like that. I always, you know, if you think it's very close to like Gerald Scarfe, or you think it's very close to like Ralph Steadman, or I don't see it, because my style is, there's no political relevance to it. There's no, you know, I don't do famous people. I don't do the caricature side of things. So I would probably say, if anything, mine's probably inspired mostly by Ronald Searle. For the simple reason, not in the drawing style, because I draw mostly animals at the moment. And that again, in a year's time or in 2 weeks' time, it might completely change. So I think this, having a fresh and inspired creative style, means you have to be opened. You have to open your mind. You have to be very fluid, you know. You need to see what other people are doing. You need to see what new styles are coming along. and you need to accept a lot of things. Even, as much as I dislike AI, it's a new medium. It's a new way to look at the world, a new way to do art, and you can't really just cancel it off. So I would 100% say that the best way for any artist to keep their mind fresh, to keep their work fresh, is to not get too tied down with a style. If tomorrow I decide that I want to be a watercolor painter and I want to paint landscapes and beaches and lighthouses and then that would be my style. That would be my decision. And I would stop to draw in ink. Then that's just a decision. That's just being inspired by some other painter, Someone who's painted something so beautiful that I have to draw something like that. So don't be afraid by change. Don't feel you're tied down. I don't feel tied down in any way by my style, but I would say that these videos have helped me a lot in a way that they have made me kind of a little bit fresher with my approach. To draw for you in this video, it's almost like a sketch. It's so fresh feeling that I love that. And I love the fact that it's almost like a throwaway style. It's like I can draw this picture and if it's really beautiful and I absolutely love it, I'll paint it up and put it on the shop, and hopefully people will frame it and love it forever. And if it's rubbish, I'll throw it on the side or throw it in the bin. And that is such a very... it's such a refreshing way to draw, because I'm not expecting this to be a masterpiece. I'm not expecting it to be anything, except I hope it looks like a horse. A rather bizarre horse. But in the same way, I'm excited by the fact that my mind is just playing. My mind is just exploring every idea that I have in my mind when I'm drawing. I'm thinking about drawing long legs and a goofy expression or whatever. And for me, that's really, really exciting. So, for me, it keeps my mind fresh. It keeps my thinking fresh. And I love that. So I would say, by keeping your mind fresh and not getting too tied down by a style of such, don't feel that what you're drawing now will be what you're drawing forever. Don't, unless you're very happy with what you're doing, but I would like to see that maybe in time that you would wake up one morning and fall in love with charcoal. Charcoal's a fantastic medium to draw in, but I rarely do, because, well, for one, when I do it, I find that I can't really control the messiness. Whereas with the ink, I feel like I am totally in control of every kind of blob that comes down. Every little thing that I want to do, boom, 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 excites me in that way. Bang, bang. And I feel it's beautiful. So, for me, I'm very excited by this ink medium at the moment. And I'm very excited by sketching in ink and drawing in ink and making these videos to share it. And to share in a way that I love reading all the comments about, what do you think about this drawing? What do you feel about the passion or the expression or whatever was in this drawing. So to keep a fresh mind is to keep your mind open. Keep that childish, student type approach to everything. And I have surprised myself on some drawings that I've drawn something so quick and so rough and so mad, really. Sometimes the drawings are so forceful, and yet when I look back, when I listen to what I'm talking about, I feel that drive coming through my pen. I feel I'm getting angry about something, or I'm getting passionate about something, and I feel that drive coming through. And I love that about that. I love that about my work. I love that about the whole expression that I'm conjuring up here. And that is something that is just a very, very, very beautiful thing to feel. So these videos have become almost like a relearning for me. When I watch some of the videos back, especially like when I'm editing, I think, oh, why did you do that with the brush? Why did you do that then? Why did you just go boom there? Why at that point? What was... Oh, so you were talking about that and you're feeling this and you're... You know, that's a really, really, really beautiful part of these videos. Now I think I need to get a brush going back in there. And what I'm going to try to do here is to kind of convey that passion of that horse almost dancing. I know his expression is a little bit strange because I feel he's angry or frustrated, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's singing, you know. In fact, that's a beautiful thought, even to see the expression in different ways. You know, for me as a young artist, I was always very excited by people like Francis Bacon, because I didn't understand. I couldn't understand. Why did you do that with your paint? Why did you go like that? Why did you mush that? Why did you spread that? Why did you... And that made me really try to get into who he was and what he was doing. And that was a very, very, very love. I remember going to Francis Bacon exhibition in London, and I was so excited to go. And at the time, my son was kind of getting into art, and he came with us. And I was so excited to show him an artist like Francis Bacon. And to my horror, he hated it. And I was like, what, can't you see this? Can't you see? And he couldn't. He just thought it was mushy rubbish, really. And that's a perfect example of, is this drawing beautiful for you? Is it ugly for you? Is it disturbing for you? Is it exciting for you? So each people take whatever that part of that journey is differently. And that for me is one of the beautiful things about art. That everybody has a different way to feel it. So I think your journey and my journey and Frank and Sally and Jezebel and Judy and whatever, we will all feel it and take that journey differently. because we're all feeling things differently. And that's why when I'm saying about get your pens and draw, I don't mean draw like me. I mean draw like you. What's up with all these pens dying on me tonight? Draw like you. Draw just like you. Draw the way you want to draw. Draw the way you feel. And if your pens decide to die on you, and I would love to be able to sit there and see what you have drawn while you're watching me draw this strange. What is happening? Well, I've been drawing this strange dancing, singing horse, And then for us all to sit later on and have a discussion about, why did you do this, Kieran? Why did you do that? What were you thinking here? What does this mean? What does that mean? And it would be so different for everybody. And that's such a beautiful thing. In the same way that music is. Sometimes I'll listen to a song and I'll think, my God, that's probably the greatest song I've ever heard. I mean, it touches me here, But somebody else will say, I can't bear that song, So I think art is very, very similar in the way that music is. And I think if you're a musician, I would expect that you'd be listening to reggae songs and disco songs and folk songs and, just to feed your mind. And I feel that's exactly the same way you should be with art. Feel it and enjoy it. Enjoy it to a point where it becomes such a beautiful part. I remember Jordan Peterson said, buy yourself a piece of art so that you can take a step into that artist's world. When it's hanging on your wall at home and you will look down at it and you will think slowly, maybe at the beginning you'll be thinking, what was he thinking? Why do I love this painting? But you will grow a deeper understanding and a deeper love for that piece of artwork. So I would say a great lesson for any up and coming artist is buy somebody's art. And I think, what's the guy from Ghostbusters? The original Ghostbusters. Bill Murray. He went out and bought, I remember him saying that he was kind of very low on self-esteem and very, very down on himself and hating the world and life and, and he'd gone to a gallery with a friend just to change his mood. And in that exhibition, he fell in love with a painting and he bought that painting. And the exciting part is that he felt that painting on the wall brought him out of his depression. It brought him into a world that he had never really known before. He didn't really ever understand before. And I can't remember who was interviewing him at the time, but it really meant a lot to me because I felt like he had stepped into maybe a similar type of mood or feeling that maybe the artist had at the time. But it was a fabulous thing, and he said that since then his art has changed his world, changed his whole way of living, because by having a piece of art, like I have Ronald Searle prints there and lithographs there and Ralph Steadman ones and some of mine, and and more Ronald Searle and Don Martin on this side. I've got a fantastic sketch with a signature by Don Martin that I bought off some lady in America, and I love it. It's just like a little face and his signature below it, but I love it. And I often, as I walk past, I look at that picture every time I walk past, and I look at it, and a lot of times I stop and look at it, and it makes my mind so joyful. And I think about how that picture got to be with that person. Did they meet Don Martin and he had signed it for them? And, I start to think about, what was the situation? She said that she had bought it for her husband, and her husband is no longer with us. And she wanted it to go to somebody that would enjoy the picture as much as he had. And I truly believe that picture was meant for me, because I love that picture so much. When I walk past that picture, I look at it, and it excites me so much. And as does all of the litho prints of Ronald Searle were a gift from my kids. And they are so important to me. They line there. There's like 5 of them in a line. And when I first got them, I looked at them so detailed for hours. And I would sit there at night, and in the end of the day, I'd sit and I'd look at the pictures, and I would look at every line and it was just so powerful. And I feel like in today's world, we're all in so much of a rush, we don't even look. Like for me, even looking at my own drawings, I'm looking at some of the lines sometimes. I think, that part there with the chin, and that part there with the leg, with it's got a beautiful square angle. And I love even looking at my own work. And it does excite me. Not in the same way that, obviously, a Ronald Searle print or a Stedman print, and I have a fabulous print here of Ralph Steadman, and it's with Leonardo looking at his blank canvas, and that used to be in my bedroom, and at night when I would get into bed, and I would think, what it must have been to be Leonardo, and to have no influences around you, or very small influences. Like now, I think we all kind of rely too much on the internet, and I try to stay away from the internet as much as I do these videos. I try to stay away from influences from the internet, because I feel like I want to try and capture me. I want to try and capture my excitement and my growth in this art journey as much as I can, so that it's as original my feeling, whether it's a good feeling or a bad feeling. Like the other day when I had my post stolen, and I just drew what that man was like, or whatever. That becomes a beautiful memory for me. It's like that drawing, although it's from a horrible period of time, it will have all those feelings on that line work, on every hit of the paper. And that is part of my journey for my art. I don't even know why I've painted grey around my horse today, but I have. And he stands out better for it. So, that is my plump-bodied, long-legged horse dancing along, singing along with some kind of angry eyebrows. I'm not quite sure about the angry eyebrows, but you can tell me. What's he going through? He's dancing along and he's got his angry eyebrows. Maybe he's getting emotional about that song. But that is today's drawing. I think it's kind of cool. What do you think? You're the boss. What do you think? Thank you for being here today, and thank you for the questions. I love your questions. Sometimes your questions make me think. And today's question was a fantastic one. It was quite a deep, meaningful kind of question, but it was beautiful. So thank you very much for the question. Thank you very much for writing to me and asking me. You know, it's great that you're a part of this journey, and that's a beautiful thing too. That you are being part of this inky journey. So, let's just darken up around his eyes. Just I don't know why, but I'll give him some more character. Lovely. So, thank you very much for being here today, and thank you for sharing your time with me. And I will see you again tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and come and see me on every day when we do these great chatty journeys. I love it. So, thank you. And thank you for the question, whoever it was. I forgot. But thank you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.